To continue this discussion, I'll be giving you an synchronous video about Module 2. This is a continuation of our discussion on discretionary income. Now, when we say discretionary income, it means the money remaining from wages after paying for necessities such as food, clothing, and shelter. So, it's the most important of all the trends that support the growth of the hospitality industry because you need to have an extra income to be able to travel or do unwinding. So if you do not have money other than your fixed salary, after paying all the expenses and miscellaneous and whatsoever, and then wala na mabilin, so it's probably you're not allowed to do leisure, to go far beyond sa imong location because you do not have enough money or discretionary income to use during travel or other types of leisure or recreations. An almost double income family unit had emerged over the years as more married women joined or stayed in the labor force. Probably kani siya nga sentence, it means nga kasagara sa mga pamilya nga minyo is mo'y always nagatrabaho, whereas katong mga nasi single pa sila, wala pa'y pamilya, they have that much time to do leisure or recreation because wala pa sila gibuhi, pero ang katong mga married women, they stay in the labor force because they need to provide for their family, and as such kinahanglan nila nga magtrabaho instead of doing leisure. So the strong growth in the segment of the labor force will undoubtedly continue as more income becomes available to pay for the necessities of life. Discretionary income for leisure time and corresponding goods and services also becomes available. So it is definitely affected by various economic factors. So an economic downtown with increased unemployment reduces discretionary income. For example, during the COVID pandemic, the Filipinos, some or most, wala gyud trabaho, or they were being kicked out or terminated, because the company has no money to give them as a form of salary or income. That is why nagmatter po ang travel when it comes to the economic or status of the economy. And different economic conditions tend to favor different ways of spending discretionary income. For example, low interest rates, which make the purchase of high-ticket items such as home, cars, boats, and aircraft are more desirable, so make less discretionary income available for short vacations or quick day trips. So we have your income, and then your fixed expenses equals your disposable income or what you can use during your travel. Going back into the discussion, next we have family size or household size. So the current trend towards smaller families also indicates growth for the hospitality industry. So I have here an example for you that you can see in your module of the different sizes of families. Pwede sad ninyo ma-apply sa inyo because smaller families tend to travel more than bigger families because gamay ang magasto nila during travel, whereas kung daghan mo pulo dusi, maybe even lima mo kabuok sa ka household, maglisod na o travel. But then if you're only 3 sa isa ka household, there's possibility nga makalaag mo lagyo because of the trend nga the smaller family is mas less ang inyong magasto. So the discretionary income available for a family with 2 children is greater than that for a family with 5 children when total incomes are equal. Like the trend towards smaller families, the increased number of small households indicates that more discretionary income is available kasi nga gamay ra ang gastuhon nila, gamay ra ang expenses. The costs associated with a 1 or 2 person household are less than those for household of 4 or more people. Moreover, those who live in smaller households are more likely to dine out, travel, and participate in quality leisure time activities. Kasi Um, it so happen if a family is composed of at least 3, 4, or 5, there is much disposable income to use when traveling or doing leisure or recreation compared to those families nga daghan. If you've noticed na mga daghan kayong anak, kapamilya, wala gid na sila travel, no? Basically, ang ilang ginambuhat lang silang money, if they have money, is use that for their savings, for their food, no, and other expenses. Pero walay money that can be used for recreation. So, that is masaklap sa dagko nga families. If I were you, do not really do or think about it. No, if you want to have a big family and then your work is not that stable, because if you cannot provide to your family, there might be problems, no, the way. And then next is business travel. So corporate business travel should not be taken for granted by hotel managers in today's world of high energy prices and speedy communication. So oil prices significantly affect business travel. As the cost of fuel oil rises, the higher prices for air travel and the means of transportation result. So the volume created by business travel often represents the largest portion of the regular income of hotel property, because these business travelers offer that lots of money by traveling, no, to other places so that they can do business. If in here we have the so-called the price hike in oil in the international market, oil is very pricey. So therefore, katong ginagamit nato nga oil for transportation, no, by air, mahal, so in demand siya only sa mga business class type, no, sa mga business travelers. And that is why kinahanglan sila, vital sila sa hospitality industry, because they provide income to hotel providers or hospitality providers. So this prime market must be constantly reviewed for economic details that affect its viability. Okay, now we are on to our next topic, which is on the organization of the front office department. So in here, this figure that I will show you, no, and then you can see this sa inyong module 2. You can see here in the organization chart, positions found in the front office. So we have, first is the corporate owner or the CEO, the general manager, this is on the top level, and then we have the assistant general manager, and then we have the front office manager. Under him, sa front office man now, so we're going to focus in the front office. So we have the reservations manager, the cashier, the desk clerk, room key clerk, telephone operator, the bell staff, concierge, the elevator operator, and the night auditor. So basically, these are the personnel under the front office department. So we are going to state, I know that you already understand or learn the functions of some of the personnel, but then we are going to refresh it. So first, we have the front office manager. He or she usually prepares a personal budget. It's related to salary levels throughout the lodging establishment. So other than that, he also supervises the operation. And then with the desk clerk, he or she encompasses many duties, which typically include verifying guest reservations, registering guests, assigning rooms, distributing keys, communicating with the housekeeping staff, answering telephones, providing information about and directions to local attractions, accepting cash and giving change, and acting as liaison between the lodging establishment and the guests as well as the community. Eventually, the desk clerk are what we call the front office associate, in which the ones that I have shared with you are the functions of the desk clerk. The desk clerk abroad is only functioning as one person. But then there are many considerations, no? Kaya dili pwede nga ang atong desk clerk is mamahimo na to og reservationist. Dili pwede because it's hard working both as a receptionist and a reservationist. Okay, and then I have learned all of this work, no, exactly for at least a month, but then there are some mistakes and you need to understand that mistakes are normal. It's just that you need to grow every day when you're learning how to do the job as a front office associate, because if always ka magkamali-mali and you're dealing with money, you're dealing with people, there's a possibility that you are not really engaging into keeping the image of the hotel that you are working or the establishment that you are working. So you need to be presentable, you need to be alert, you need to be optimistic and happy all the time, even though you are that sleepy. No? Okay. Okay, and then we're going into the cashier's work. So it includes processing guest checkouts and guest legal tender and providing change for guests. So this position is found in a number of lodging establishments, and it helps to make the front desk workload manageable. With a full house, a hotel that has all its guest rooms occupied is checking out. There's a possibility nga ang cashier needs to be, other than being sociable, he or she needs to be fast, no? And responsible, because we are dealing with money, and every checkout guest during the other day or the night, no, we are going to check them all out. You need to have a specific time to which you're going to attend to all of these guests. Kaya ang guest dili siya ganahan na magtagad-tagad, so there might be chances kinahanglan nimo nga practice o kung pinaspas. And then we have Reservations Manager, which is responsible for taking incoming requests from rooms and noting special requests for service. And always remember, Reservations Manager is the one looking at the operation of the reservationist. Para ma-check niya if correct ang details ng gi-ask sa reservationist from the guest. And also, unsa nga mga rooms ang na special request from the guest as well. And then responsible for keeping an accurate room inventory by using a reservation module of a property management system or PMS. So this person must communicate very effectively with the marketing and sales department. So peak as well as low periods of sales must be addressed with adequate planning. And all of this are under the function of the reservations manager. And then we have the night auditor, who balances daily financial transaction. Daily because the night auditor comes in during the end of the shift sa panggabi before ang graveyard shift. So, if you are the cashier and then na graveyard shifty, you need to check first. You need to audit the money first before siya musulod, no? So, that's how the night auditor's responsibility is. So, this person serves as desk clerk for the night shift. So the night auditor, so he or she must have a good grasp of accounting principles and ability to resolve financial discrepancies. This position requires experience as desk clerk and good communications with the controller. So I have a night auditor before, and he's Chinese, but then his religion is Adventist, and we became friends because he teaches me. He's the one teaching me how to do night auditing. It's very crucial because you need to count money and numbers. You need to balance everything. If there is something wrong with the ledger, then there's a possibility na nakadispal ko kag money or nakawala kag money. So you need to be careful about it. And then we have the telephone operator. This person must be able to locate the registered guest and management staff a moment's notice. So he or she is also expected to be able to deal with crises such as life-threatening emergencies. So for example, kani siya nga function, it can be done by the desk clerk or the cashier. No? During my time as a front office associate, I was working as both the desk clerk, cashier, and telephone operator. So tulo ka buko kong function, and I'm only one person working sa front office. So just imagine how quick I am when it comes to dealing with customers. No? And then we have the bell captain, a mainstay in a lodging establishment. So the bell staff starts where the computerized property management system stops. So they're the people who lift and tote the baggage, familiarize the guest with his or new surroundings, run errands, deliver supplies, and provide the guest with information on in-house marketing efforts and local attractions. So these people also act as the hospitality link between the lodging establishment and the guest. So they're an assert to a well-run lodging establishment. So the bill staff, they're the ones helping, or doing extra for the guests. So say for example, if we want to provide good image sa atong hotel, we need to train the bell staff to be hospitable. Okay, next, we're going to talk about the key clerk. So the key clerk, the one responsible for issuing keys. But then again, ang atong mga rooms karon are all high-tech and systematized, and we are now using digital keys. So for example, katong atong key nga swipe key, tap in nga key. We also have to use DNA for our keys, so the iris scanner, and also we also have the biometrics. So there is really no need for a key clerk in the modern hotels, especially sa karon nga days, 21st century. During my work, I'm also the one issuing keys for the guests, so make it sure that they also understand some safety measures and protocols. And often the key clerk will sort incoming mail for registered guests and management staff. This position has become obsolete. That's why I'm telling you, you can do all things when you are a front office associate if you're just dedicated to your work. So there's no need for help. And then next, we have the elevator operator. This is the job of the bell staff. The elevator operator is a part of the bell staff. So a person who manually operates the mechanical controls of the elevator. But sometimes, in new hotels, there are no elevator operators anymore. But then the guest will self-service, or will do self-service or self-service himself or herself using the elevator. But then for security purposes, you need to ask the bell staff or the concierge with regards to the key card that you're going to use to go into a certain floor only. So for example, naka sa third floor po kataman, because they will use a security key para they can be sure na wala may tabo sa imuha dito sa taas, And then concierge, it provides extensive information on every amenities and facilities and entertainment inside the hotel or establishment that you're going to stay in. So he or she must know the area intimately and must be able to meet the individual's needs of each guest. So if you are going to question the concierge about the area and who is the owner or everything, the concierge must be knowledgeable enough to answer those questions, So this person also obtains theater tickets and make reservations in restaurants. In most cases, the concierge is stationed at the desk in the lobby or the lodging property. So we have a concierge area in which you can ask a concierge for, say for example, if you're new in the place, you want to go to the airport or you want to go somewhere, you need to ask a concierge for information purposes. And then going to the third topic of our discussion today, which is cross-training. So from the term cross-training, a staff is trained and is able to function in another department or position other than your present position. The desk clerks, reservationists, and telephone operators are able to take over each other's positions, allowing for improved coverage during busy periods and making possible greater scheduling activity. So there's no need for at least 4 people to work in the front desk department or front office department. So there are only 2 people working, hand in hand. They're cross-trained so that they can do jobs, particularly jobs from, say for example, ikaw ang desk clerk and then you are trained to answer telephone. So you can be a telephone operator, And then another thing, you can also become a cashier, and also the key clerk. Okay, so we have also sections in the front office department. So these sections, we have the reservation, and then we have reception. You already know what reception is. But first, going into the reservations, you have to accept, block, store, and assign guests from reservations for individuals and groups. So your function is to write down or maybe input into the system the reservations of the guests no coming in sa inyong establishment. There are also walk-ins. You need to also write down the request of the guest. And then for reservation, we have registration. So to meet guest requirement regarding rooms and establish registration, formalities, by writing your name, contact details. For example, if you have problems with the front office can call you. Mail handles guest message and postage. But then again, wala na tayong usual na mail ngayon because we have our phones with us, ng smartphones, no? So there's possibility nga if ganahan ang mga business travelers to use fax or printers so that they can transfer the message, the hotel will then print that out for them. And then we have key controller and then information. So the key controller can be done by the desk clerk, and we have the information by the concierge. And then we have the telephone exchange to handle telephone traffic for guests and the rest of operations, provide wake up and message services. So this can be done by a professional and which can do local and international calls using telephone. And then we have the billing to perform the cashiering functions of accepting payments from guests. And then bill service to provide guests by extra service. Concierge to render additional service, usually outside the hotel. And then business center provides computer jobs, receiving or sending fax messages and photocopying. So also they can also provide their Wi-Fi signals for those business travelers who do not have laptops with them because bugatan sila magdala. That's why they go to business center to do their jobs, no? Especially mga networkers. So if you can see networkers nowadays, they also bring with them their laptops, no? So that is our discussion first on the sections of front office department. I will be giving you an additional asynchronous video so that you can see me discuss another topics for Module 2. See you later, guys, and have a great day.